What is up, everybody? We are back. Welcome to Kiss Me Some Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Eli Clausen.
And I am Luke Neely.
All right. This week is a special Kiss Cruise related edition of the show, being that they celebrated the 10th anniversary of the cruise this past weekend. We thought up of a special little topic we're going to do on the show. We'll get into that later on. Of course, we're going to discuss things that went on the cruise as well. If anyone that's watching happened to have been on the cruise, please give us some reports as well on the experience. Catching up on some things here. David Smith, there you are. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
First off, just wanted to give a shout out and give a special thank you to everyone that sent the birthday wishes to me last week. We were away because I had a gig with the Kiss Tribute that night, but it was really cool to see all those wishes come in from you guys. Much appreciated. And so let's see, Kiss announced that they canceled the Vegas residency. Kind of shocked to hear that. Apparently it had something to do with the international fans not being able to get over here for the cruise and for the Vegas residency. So from my understanding, they're going to have first dibs on the cruise tickets next year, and same with the Vegas residency, because apparently they're still planning on doing it, but it may be more in the summertime of 2022, which is going to be god-awful hot. But apparently they're still planning on doing it, just pushing it back for those international people. We're getting a weird interference here. I'm hearing my voice.
Oh, weird.
Feedback. Something happened there. But, so yeah, thoughts?
Crazy. So much going on in the world that makes things more complicated. You know what I mean? It's not funny, but going directly to this situation, it's a little bit funny after all of the people that made fun of them for already having done a farewell tour and, they're not going to actually end. And here we are finding every time we think we've got pretty much an end, Kiss is going to be done by this time. Nope, they're going to do a cruise next year. They've extended the residency. No, they really aren't going to stop.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder because during the Q&A, there was someone that asked that question regarding, when it's going to be done or the retirement, and Paul gives that answer of, well, when you retire, you die, or when you die, that's when you retire. So it's so are you saying that you guys really aren't going to be hanging it up, or we're just kind of limiting it down to doing cruises and certain things? Is that kind of what? Because I know a lot of us kind of thought that that's probably what they're going to do,
right?
But I don't know. It really makes you wonder when he says things like that.
It really does. And I was talking about that with Dad not too long ago, where he was suggesting that may be a cool thing. Sure, they stopped touring and, there's no talk of an album or anything, but they still do, a Vegas residency. They still do the cruise every year or something. And surely that would be easier. And I wonder on that topic if it would be. You know what I mean? Would it be easier for them to do less, or are they still able to do it because they do it so often? I wonder, what's the pro-con takeaway there?
Right. And again, that topic came up too with is there going to be a new album? And I forget everything Paul said, but basically it was why would we want to do a new album? Yeah. You're not going to remember it. Too many people put stuff out and then you don't remember anything off of it, and it just kind of ruins the legacy. And
for sure,
we've talked about that in the past. There's plenty of bands that I felt have done that in the past, and Kiss borderline has kind of done that with the last couple albums, but thankfully there were at least some good stuff,
right,
whether it was a handful or so.
Yeah, you can't blame them, because of course it would be amazing to get a new album, but look at how Sonic Boom and Monster were received by the general fan base. Yeah, I totally get behind them being like, well, there's no point in us doing any more then. I mean, if you guys would rather hear Shout It Out Loud for the jillionth time instead of, Long Way Down, then we're just going to play Shout It Out Loud,
Yeah. And here we are. I want to say we're a week away from the release of that Destroyer box set. I feel like it said the 12th was when it comes out or begins to ship. So I hope I'm right because I cannot wait to get that. That's still looking forward to that. And hopefully many more to come. So yeah, some of the latest goings on there is Kiss canceling the Vegas residency. Well, not technically canceling, postponing it until possibly the summer. That's the plan now. They also postponed, excuse me, the Florida date that they were supposed to do right when they got off the cruise. They went ahead and postponed that one too. I'm assuming for the same reason regarding a lot of those international fans that couldn't make it. Not really sure, and still yet to hear of a new date for the Dayton show, if and when that'll ever happen. Here we sit November 5th, still nothing. As of right now, they're not doing anything until I believe February or even March at this point now, with the Vegas thing being postponed and all of that. So they definitely have a lot of free time right now. Not sure what's going to happen. Definitely, keeping an ear to the wire and waiting to see an announcement made, hopefully, and fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right, so we will get into much more of the cruise discussion later, of course. So let's, of course, take care of our usual stuff here. We're away for a week, so definitely got a lot of polls and all that to catch up on. And man, these matches just get harder and harder. I was looking at the ones today, and not some easy picks there.
No, there were a couple of laughable throwaway matches this week, but then there were also quite a few. Oh man, we were definitely stressing Harry Mills out. Did you see that?
He was having a fit.
He really was. Okay, so yeah, we've got a ton of the polls to catch up on because, as you guys know, not only were we gone last week, but we were gone for 2 weeks in a row early in the month last month. So in order to catch up on polls for the last 2 weeks, I posted 12 instead of 6 matches. So technically, we need to go over results for 24 matches real quick, and then talk about the ones that were just posted today. All right, so give me a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we posted 12 matches. I guess I should preface this by saying, just in case this happens to be your first ever Kiss Meets the Podcast episode, definitely check us out on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We'd appreciate it if you'd like or follow or send us 72 virgins or whatever that Facebook is. Hopefully that last one. Facebook really needs to get on the game with that. We also have on Facebook, that just completely lost my train of thought there, talking about 72 virgins. We have ourselves a private group over on Facebook called Kiss Meets the Podcast group. You do have to request access to join, but we approve everybody, so don't let that stop you. Get in there. A lot of stuff gets posted in there. When we hear about Kiss news updates, we post in there. We post what we're going to do on the episodes in there. Our good buddy Javier Boster has been posting a ton of stuff in there recently for some Kiss-related events in where he is that would be cool to go to. Another thing that we do is we post big old Kiss song tournaments in there, and we are right smack in the middle of round 1 of a huge one right now, where we've included everything. It's something like little more than 400 Kiss songs matched up randomly against each other. We're going to be on round 1 for probably another year. So you have not missed anything important. Get in there. We want as many votes as possible. We post 6 matches a week. So that's what we're talking about right now, is the results from some of the matches we've posted. So without further ado, I'll just kind of jump down through these quick since we have a lot to cover. Strutter from Smashes versus Lick It Up from Sonic Boom Disc 2. Strutter naturally takes that 96%. Unholy from Revenge versus Come On and Love Me from Alive. Unholy takes it with 63%.
Nice.
Save Your Love from Dynasty versus Rock Bottom from MTV Unplugged. Rock Bottom took that with 67%. Under the Gun from Animalize versus Take Me Down Below from Monster. Sadly, Under the Gun took this with 100% of the vote.
Holy cow.
Now I'm completely with that. I totally agree that Under the Gun should win that, but it is always a little bit disappointed when nobody votes for the other song, you know? Usually everything gets at least one or two. Hard Luck Woman from Rock and Roll Over versus Hotter Than Hell from Hotter Than Hell. Hard Luck Woman takes it with 62%. You're All That I Want from Unmasked versus Bang Bang You from Crazy Nights. You're All That I Want takes it with 60%. Dark Light from The Elder versus You Wanted the Best from Psycho Circus. Dark Light takes it with 67%. Got to Choose from Hotter Than Hell versus It's My Life from Psycho Circus, or at least the demo from Psycho Circus. Got to Choose takes it with 88%. Yeah. I'm guessing most people didn't know what It's My Life was.
Yeah.
Which is a good point to throw in the PSA, guys. One of the big points of this particular tournament is that we've included a lot of different versions of the same song. So there's the studio version, there's the live version. Even if it was on a greatest hits compilation, as long as it was remixed, don't care about remaster. Everything on greatest hits are usually remastered. If it was remixed, it's included. So pay attention to the version that you're looking at, and don't be afraid to go over to YouTube to check out the versions if you've forgotten how it goes. Because we also have in there stuff like It's My Life, which was a very well-made demo from the Psycho Circus era, something a lot of people might not know. We also include a lot of Japan-only bonus tracks, like In Your Face from Psycho Circus, and Right Here, Right Now from Monster. So if you're unfamiliar with a song, don't be afraid to run over to YouTube. All of this stuff is on YouTube. Get your memory back. We also
Get your
had...
memory.
Yeah, do it. We have The Devil Is Me from Monster versus A World Without Heroes from MTV Unplugged. World Without Heroes takes it with 97%. Ozone from Ace's album versus Lick It Up from Alive 3. This one was very close. Ozone took it with 52%.
Nice.
Last Chance from Monster versus Kiss the Girl Goodbye from Peter's album. Kiss the Girl Goodbye takes it with 64%. Nice to see a Peter song making it to round two.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure it's going to get knocked out in round two, though. Thanks to the winner of the next match, we had Yes I Know Nobody's Perfect from Sonic Boom versus Who Wants to Be Lonely from Asylum. Who Wants to Be Lonely took it with 90%, which puts it up against Kiss the Girl Goodbye in round two. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Getting into results that I just collected today, we had Dreamin' from Psycho Circus versus Comin' Home from MTV Unplugged. Naturally, Comin' Home took that with 73%. I think it's safe to say Comin' Home is a potential contender for winner of this whole thing.
Yeah, definitely in my book it is.
For sure. We had Easy Thing from Peter's album versus Car Jam from Revenge. Car Jam took it with 79%. Making Love from Rock and Roll Over versus King of the Nighttime World from Destroyer. Oof. Making Love took it with 52%. Again, a one-vote difference.
That was a very, very tough one, yes.
Yeah.
Space Ace Ron, what's up? Hope you're feeling all right, man.
Yes.
Get better soon, man.
Absolutely. Good that it's the flu and not COVID, though.
Yeah.
We also had Beth from Unplugged versus Cadillac Dreams from Hot in the Shade. Beth took that with 76%. Do You Love Me from MTV Unplugged versus Take It Off from Alive 3. Take It Off takes it with 62%. Great Expectations from Alive 4 versus She from Alive. She landslides that with 96%. I Can't Stop the Rain from Peter's solo album versus Charisma from Dynasty. Charisma takes it with 85%. Radar for Love from Asylum versus Wouldn't You Like to Know Me from Paul's solo album. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me takes with 68%. A few close, really, I think within one vote. The next two were both really close. We had Speedin' Back to My Baby from Ace's album versus All American Man from Alive 2. Very close match, but Speedin' Back takes it with 52%.
Yeah. Two of the toughest matches right there with King of the Nighttime World and that one, man.
Yes. Another really close one, I Will Be There from Carnival of Souls versus Love's a Slap in the Face from Hot in the Shade. I can't say I agree with this, but Love's a Slap takes it with 52%.
Wow.
Again, a one-vote difference. We have King of the Nighttime World from Alive 4 versus Christine 16 from Love Gun. Christine takes it 71%.
Nice.
And finally, as far as results, we have I Still Love You from MTV Unplugged versus 100,000 Years from Alive. 100,000 Years took it with 81%. I agree, but I'm surprised that it wasn't a little closer.
Yeah. It was. I wanted to go. I Still Love You so bad, but then I'm just like, how can I vote against that drum solo? I mean, that's so iconic,
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I voted against that, I might as well just put down the sticks and
That's true. That's true. Okay, so that's all of the results, which is way more than we usually have to cover. Like I said, just because of the sporadic episodes recently, thanks to bugs and gigs and different things like that. There were 6 brand new matches posted just hours ago. Today, you have the whole week to get in there and vote on them. So if you are already a member of Kiss Meets the Podcast group, jump over there and get your votes in on these 6. And if you are not, request access because we will approve you immediately. Dang it. We will approve you right now so that you can get your votes in on the following 6 matches. We had some real nasty ones today.
Or 5 weeks later, like some of the ones I just approved earlier. Hey, bear with us. We apologize because we've been gone and it's just been crazy busy over this last month. So.
I wish Facebook would notify us.
yeah, because I literally just got on there and it literally shows 0 requests, but then I clicked on it and there was literally 3 sitting there waiting to be approved.
Thank you, Facebook.
And a couple of them were like 5 weeks old. I was like, oh.
Stupid Zucky.
Got you in there, though.
Yes.
Thanks for bearing with us. Much appreciated.
Yes, very much. All right, so first one right off the bat is a punch in the dick. We have 100,000 Years, the remix from Double Platinum, versus Detroit Rock City, the remix from Double Platinum, which also, interestingly, is on Killers. It's the same remix on both Double Platinum and Killers, so that's why those aren't separated.
My personal favorite version of Detroit, so that's definitely what I went with, but we'll see what happens, see what you guys feel.
Absolutely. We also had, this one was interesting for me, God of Thunder from Destroyer versus Spit from Revenge.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been that big on Spit as just a song, but I've also never been big on the album version of God of Thunder, so I went with Spit this time.
Yeah, it was kind of a hard choice there for me as well.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Live 2 version of God of Thunder is probably my favorite version. But I was like, I don't know. It was tough.
Yeah. This for me came down to the version again, like you were saying. Like, I would, any day of the week, admit that God of Thunder is a better song than Spit. But, like, I've always been a little bit disappointed I feel like the Destroyer version could have been so much heavier, and it was kind of a missed opportunity, Whereas Spit, the production is just perfect. So, went with that. Another one that stressed Harry Mills out, Wiped Out from Ace's solo album versus Forever from Alive 3. Uh-oh. You froze. Am I also froze? Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that was definitely D-Live's part on that.
Weird. I wondered what happened. I wasn't sure if I had screwed up or if something had gone wrong on the other end.
Yeah, I thought you dropped again, but both of us, like my camera shut off too. It was a black screen. So that was definitely D-Live's fault on that one. Sorry about that, guys, but looks like we're still rolling.
Good. Okay, so just in case it cut out and you guys didn't hear, the next match was one that stressed out Harry Mills and probably stressed out Steve McGowan too. Wiped Out from Ace's solo album versus Forever from Alive 3.
Yeah. And no, Steve, Wiped Out is not going to win the whole thing.
I feel like we're going to owe you money if it does.
Like my God, yeah.
I'm almost willing to put my money where my mouth is.
We're calling you out now, Steve. Do you want to place a bet on it now? Because we will.
Yeah.
I'll bet a whole $1.
A whole $1. That's 100 pennies. That's a lot. That is a lot of pennies.
We're not small rollers on this show.
No. We also had Nowhere to Run from Killers versus Man of a Thousand Faces from Gene's solo album. Actually, both of the last two were a bit. I mean, I'm tempted to call them throwaway. We had Heavens on Fire from the Millennium concert. Uh, you know, Ace and Peter playing no makeup songs is what it is. Versus Calling Dr. Love from Alive 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
that was definitely the one where I was like, okay, whichever one wins this is hopefully going to be gone the next round anyway. So
yeah, without a doubt.
Process of elimination.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had to go with Dr. Love on that one just because
Right.
no part of me can get behind Ace and Peter playing no makeup songs.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. Same
Uh,
thing.
yeah. And then the other one, Back to the Stone Age from Monster versus Out of This World from Monster. So, for both of us, I think the obvious choice is Out of This World.
Mm-hmm.
One of the only Monster songs both of us are really into, but I can see that particular one not getting a lot of votes total because people tend to just dismiss Monster out of hand.
It looks like Out of This World's got most of the votes right now, last I remember looking. So
Nice.
I
Yep,
think
so that's our
everyone agrees.
6. Absolutely. That is our 6 matches this week. You can go vote on Kiss Meets the Podcast group on Facebook. Again, I hope we're not running this into the ground, but we usually average about 30 votes per match every week, and it would be awesome to see that jump up to something like 50 or something. So definitely get in there and vote. We want to hear you guys, and don't be afraid to comment on those too. Naturally, we don't like any sort of arguing or ridiculousness to break out, but tell us why you picked the song you did. Why is it your favorite? Especially if it's the underdog. If you pick the underdog, let us know what you like about the song. It's cool.
Absolutely. Also, I forgot to mention John Five's new album, Sinner, is also now available, which features Peter Criss doing Georgia on My Mind is the song on there. So I have it downloaded. I just have not listened to the track yet, but I am really excited to hear how that turned out with Peter on there.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's cool.
Oh yeah. So definitely go check that out. John Five, amazing player in general, and huge Kiss fan. His collection's outrageous. It's amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, go check that out for the Peter track alone. Good listening. All right, I think that covers it. So we're going to get into the Kiss Cruise then, of course. So the Kiss Cruise happened 1 week ago today. They sold out on my birthday, and I wasn't there.
I know, right?
I have yet to been on one. This was the 10th one. Technically the 10th one, even though we didn't have one last year. But yeah, so, gee, where to start, let's just talk about the maybe the biggest highlight of the whole thing, Bruce.
Oh, geez.
Start there.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, I can't use the exact language that I texted Eli. But the way things have gone for Kiss in the last several years, the way Paul's voice has sounded, and the way their set lists have bluntly been wildly boring, at least for me personally. I got to tell you guys that I don't care to see Kiss again. I really don't. Not unless they're going to change up their set lists. I would pay what they're charging for Kiss tickets to see Bruce's band 100 times. I would. Their set lists every year are amazing. They are absolutely 100 spot on. They are performed to a T. Todd Kearns' voice is amazing. Zach Throne's voice is amazing. Brent Fitz, the drummer, is crazy good with the harmonies. I wish the sound man would have turned his mic up occasionally. Would have been nice. But I cannot look at any Bruce set list, and even back when Bob was playing with him, the Bruce and Bob set lists, and choose a Kiss set list over that. I just simply can't. I absolutely love what they're doing. I hope they record some new music, which they've kind of implied that they're doing. So that'll be cool to hear. But I also hope that they start doing some shows outside of the cruises, because I would travel to see that, and I wouldn't for most other acts, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I was telling Luke on text, I'm like, Bruce needs to leave Grand Funk like now and take this band on the road. I mean, there's no way that I don't think he would be successful. I
Hmm.
mean, or even for that matter, there's no reason that band isn't opening for Kiss on this tour.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, like why not? That would make it an even better Kiss show in general because you're getting to still hear a lot of that deep stuff that Kiss won't play, but Bruce and his band are doing it, and then you still get Kiss to follow that up. So what better show could you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely. And then that would provide the perfect opportunity for Bruce to get up with Kiss and do a song.
Yeah, like he did on the Sail Away. He did Heaven's on Fire, and I believe it was Tears Are Falling,
Yeah.
and sounded great as always. And I would much rather see that. No offense, but I would much rather see that than a painter up there painting pictures to music. And you know, give us a true opening act, and why not something that's Kiss related, whether it's Bruce and his band or Ace and his band, something to that effect, or both. Why not? Why not make it the ultimate Kiss family show if this really is going to be the last tour? Which who knows now?
Yeah, yeah.
The way they talk and the way you speculate, and they just keep dragging it and dragging it and dragging it. It's hard. It's hard to say, man.
Yeah.
Really don't know, but one of the highlights that sticks out to me with Bruce's set was "Dreamin'." That
Yeah.
that was super cool. He talked about how he co-wrote that song, and that was a big spotlight moment. It's cool that he always does the little Eric tribute, but now he's doing a Bob tribute as well. That's super cool.
Yeah.
But my God, just a massive set list just full of killer stuff.
Yeah. And they're poking their way now into stuff that even wasn't necessarily his era, like opening their show with Exciter.
Yeah.
Awesome. 'Cause I don't know that Kiss ever did that one, or if they did, how they did. They probably did it for like a couple shows at the beginning of the Lick It Up tour and then got rid of it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they never did that one with Bruce.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm
So
pretty
like
sure.
that's awesome now that Bruce has kind of taken the mantle of I will champion all of the rare heard songs, whether I had anything to do with them or not, and I will perform them because I know you guys want to hear them. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, Eric came up, played domino with them. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I forget what's the singer's name now for this thing.
Oh, Todd.
Todd, yeah.
Todd Kearns. Yeah.
He was talking about how him and the bass player were, they used to listen to Alive 3, and and here they are on stage with half of the Revenge era Kiss, and
Yeah.
playing domino, and it sounded fantastic. Eric sounds like like he just came off the Alive 3 tour playing that song yesterday. Like he had
Yeah.
never stopped playing it. He was nailing all those little nuances that he always did.
Yep.
Because to be honest, when we saw him at the expo that one year and he got up and did it, it wasn't exactly the tightest performance of the song, but I'll tell you what, he nailed it on the cruise this time. So
This time. Yeah.
I don't know, they must have been rehearsing it or something. And
Yeah.
I feel like he did another song with them too, but I could be wrong. I might be getting that mixed up with Bruce doing 2 songs with Kiss, and
Right.
maybe Eric only did the one. I can't remember now, but still, that was definitely cool though.
Yeah, and it really is something to be said for the voices. You know what I mean? The Bruce couldn't have picked better. Todd doesn't sound like Paul, but he has such an amazing voice that he can hit. One year, not this year, but one year they even did part of My Way, which is one of Paul's just stupid high songs, and Todd's hitting them notes. Yeah, and it sounds great. Now on the other hand, Zach Throne, the bassist, sounds just like Gene.
Yeah.
When he wants to, I mean, even 80s Gene, he just absolutely nails it. It's uncanny if you look away. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that cracked me up. Speaking of him, because when they did Domino, and he's like, every time I walk, he's like, every time Eric Singer bends over, it's the same thing.
Oh, classic.
I'll tell you, All Hell's Breaking Loose. That one was fantastic too. I love the way they played that. I love the way they did the ending to it. That was cool.
I called that out too
Um,
when I watched that.
yeah, I'd definitely like to go back and I'm sure someone has probably posted the entire set by now. I'd like to find the video of that and sit and watch the entire set as a whole. Um, Definitely. I mean, not only that, but stuff that he's done over the other couple cruises. It'd be cool to get like a little compilation of just all that stuff that he's done, just like
Absolutely.
with the Kiss stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt at all.
Um, let's see. They had let's see. They did a Q&A session, which we talked a little bit about. People asked the question of you know, when is the tour going to end, or when is the final date? You know, when is the retirement? And Paul answered it with, well, when you retire, you die, or when you die, that's when you retire. So again, that kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, that's totally the opposite of what this tour is supposed to be, and supposedly going to have that final date at some point. But now it makes you think that, okay, maybe they have changed their minds again, especially with all the setback that COVID caused, and you know, so it makes you wonder. You know, maybe they won't stop touring full time, and it'll be more of the cruise thing, and the maybe the residencies or something like that, because they did announce the cruise is happening next year. By the way, if anyone didn't hear that, um, so they're take that for what it's worth. Um, People asked if there'd be another album. Excuse me. Paul was like, why do another album? Which I tend to agree with that. Kind of leave it alone at this point.
Yeah, it sucks because I'd love to have one, but again, I totally understand why they
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah. And they did take a moment again to kind of give a little shout out to Ace and Peter. Gene mentioned it. It's sad that they're not able to be there to take part in that. To sit there and experience the love that the crowd gives them and stuff. And it's unfortunate they can't be a part of that. But like Paul says, and he said it again, that we wouldn't be here without them, but we wouldn't be here still today with them. They were definitely giving Eric and Tommy some major props and saying good things about them. And there was definitely some laughs in there. It was fun. Gene and Paul seem to be having this argument lately about Gene accuses Paul of not having the best memory lately, and they were arguing back and forth over who wrote Strutter and and all this stuff. And pretty fun to watch that stuff. Just hear them kind of poking fun at each other and joking around. And let's see, Paul had another story time. What was the two books this year? It was one was something I forget the girls. It was like Brenda's beaver needs a shave or something like that.
What the hell?
And then the other one was called D's Nuts, and it was a squirrel that has big nuts.
I passed that video and I thought that's probably dumb. I'm not watching that. Now I'm sad. I'm sad that I didn't watch it.
Oh man, they did a Family Feud segment that was kind of fun to watch. Kind of a mess there. I'm sure there was a lot of other stuff that I didn't see. I saw where Paul did like another cooking type class. I didn't watch that one. I'm sure they did another Q&A with like Doc and stuff. I haven't seen that pop up yet, or who knows what maybe was discussed. But I don't know. We didn't really hear any kind of juicy news or information as far as like maybe more box sets or Kissologies, anything like that. Which that's probably something I would have asked had I had been there, like if there are plans for more box sets to come and all that kind of stuff. But you got a lot of those same old questions that you constantly get, but well, oh well.
Yeah.
Let's see, the Sail Away show. I didn't pay much attention to the Sail Away show set list this year because they usually tend to be kind of the general stuff. other than Bruce getting up there. I know he did that the last time too. I believe he did a few songs with them. I can't remember what he did last time, but I don't know if there was really any like, deep gems that they played on the Sail Away stuff this time.
I think let me look it up because it seems like, well, obviously it was electric this time, which is unusual.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I keep forgetting they've been doing electric now the last few years instead of the acoustic. So
Right.
that
So
does help a little, I guess.
right. So that changes things. They're still doing stuff that's not unusual for the Sail Away show, but doing them electric now instead of acoustic changes
Mm-hmm.
it. Starting with Going Blind, that's
Oh,
unusual. And then Plaster Caster, Got to Choose, Love Her All I Can, Shock Me, Christine 16, and then Tears in Heavens with Bruce, and then A World Without Heroes, Hotter Than Hell, Calling Dr. Love, and She.
hmm.
So not bad. Not
Yeah,
bad at all.
yeah, yeah. Especially being all electric.
Yeah.
So of course, when Kiss did their two, full shows, the full makeup shows as usual. Boy, we got some doozies this year for surprise deep cuts, and I don't know what was one of your highlights.
Oh man, I mean, all four of them really were
Mm-hmm.
just mind-boggling that they even thought to do that. I never thought that I would see them do Revenge era, like Take It Off.
Yeah, that was
It,
so cool to hear that.
yeah, yeah, and at this point, I think those still are strong songs that could be potential set list things. But I think Paul's voice is just too shot compared to
Mm-hmm.
where he was in the early '90s. Um, and watching the video of that, I think it's still true.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that I can't tell you that I'm 100% sure he was really singing it, but watching his lips versus what we were hearing. But yeah, all night, I think if I had to call out one specific, just because I just figured they recognize at this point that a lot of their fan base thinks that song is hokey and dumb, and so I'm surprised to see that one out of
Mm-hmm.
everything. But so cool to hear it.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, I was definitely shocked to see She's So European.
Mm-hmm.
Granted it didn't go over that well. They made no bones of acknowledging that themselves during the Q&A thing the next day. Like they were poking little jokes and fun about it. So I mean, they knew too, but hey, they
Mm-hmm.
gave it a shot, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
I think it's funny to watch the video. Oh, I think I'm about to get kicked.
oh.
I just got the host joined the broadcast message.
Yeah. And there, boy, he knows when it's coming now. So yeah, you guys in the chat, whoever's in here still, let us know if you guys watched clips from the cruise. Let us know some of your thoughts, some of your favorite surprise songs that they pulled out and everything. So we're going to get into that here in a few.
I just got another brand new message I've never seen before.
What's that?
It said my video was muted due to Chrome policies. Strange. I'm not even using Chrome.
See, mine said something about video being muted last time it did that thing to both of us, but I don't remember what it said other than that.
Weird.
How do you mute video when we're using microphones?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I've never seen that before. What was I? Oh, it's funny to watch the video. I think, naturally, Mike Brunn uploads everything that happens Kiss related,
Yeah, again, big shout out to him. I think we usually shout him out every year
Absolutely.
for the Kiss Cruise stuff because he usually does have kind of the best videos.
He does, yeah. I don't know where that guy gets his money from, but thank God we can experience the Kiss Cruise vicariously through Mike every year.
Amen.
It's because he's really close for the She's So European video, and there are points where you can tell the whole band is lost. They're trying to figure out where in the heck Gene's at, and Mike is focusing on Paul, and Paul's making no secret. He's just staring at Gene with the grinning ear to ear, like, the hell are you doing?
They even like fist bumped him at the end of the song, like, dude, we try. I was a little disappointed though that Gene didn't do the
yeah.
I was was like, come on.
Yes.
Because the Talisman always make sure they do that when they perform that song. Which they were there too. I mean, hell, I haven't even looked to see what they did. And,
Yeah,
they
nor have I.
hard to say. So,
Yeah, they were really good. We saw them a couple of times at the expo, and they were really good.
yeah, excellent dudes, and of course, a lot of people know they're Ace's backup band right now, and
Right.
man, solid. So
Yeah.
it was cool to see Craig Gass there again. He was the MC for the Q&A, so he was kind of throwing in his Gene and imitation here and there and things like that. And, Craig Gass, very cool dude. Funny as hell too, and great impressions and. Sing a little Eyes of Love for me.
Here we are.
Eyes of Love. What's that?
I think that's an Eric Carr demo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bruce did throw something like that in, didn't he?
There were a couple.
Wow, yeah. See, I totally forgot. Wow.
Oh, man. Nobody's added the Talisman setlist to Setlist FM. Dang. Yeah, somebody needs to get on that.
I know our buddy Brent from the Night Ranger podcast, Fans in Motion. I'm sure he enjoyed at least watching because Night Ranger was on the cruise too. So I can imagine how cool of an experience that would be. Two bands that you're massive fans of and playing on the same show and cruise together. That'd be an awesome feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I definitely want to find a video of Bruce's whole set. I did find someone already put together a compilation of all the deep cuts that Kiss has done throughout the years.
Oh.
Including this year, and it's like 2.5 hour long video.
Well, that would have saved me some writing. I wish I had seen that.
Went ahead and I stumbled across that earlier today, actually, and then went ahead and downloaded it. So definitely want to sit and watch that as well. Because I was hoping to find something like that, or I was going to try to put something together myself. So thank you for already doing the work. I forget the channel I downloaded it from, but thanks for already doing that and putting that together. And I believe he also did one for the Sail Away stuff, like a compilation of all the kind of deep cuts for that.
Very nice.
All right. Well, let's. Is there anything else we're forgetting, or should we get over into our next topic here?
At least I can't think of anything else that I saw that was necessarily noteworthy.
Yeah, maybe if it pops in our head, we'll mention it or something. But so what we decided to do for this week's show mainly is, again, since this was the 10th anniversary of the cruise, and speaking of those surprising deep cuts that Kiss has played throughout the years, we figured why not go through and originally we were thinking of just kind of ranking all of them that they did, but then once we realized just how many there were over 10 years, we said, no, let's just make a top 10 list. So we each made a top 10 of what we felt were the most, surprising and exciting deep cuts that they pulled out. And we've only stuck to the main makeup shows. We didn't do the Sail Away stuff, or even if they just did like a partial thing during the show, because I know there was a couple of years where they did, like, I think they partially did Just a Boy and maybe like one other thing. So we didn't include those. It definitely had to be the whole song. So obviously with you guys in the chat, whoever's still here with us, we'd like to get your input on this as well. And then of course, everyone that's watching later on, leave some comments here on the comments of this video, or jump over to the Facebook group, and we would definitely like to get your input for those.
Absolutely. I gotta tell you, it was hard too. I went through all the set lists. It was about 10 cruises, and we're skipping the Sail Away shows, so it was about 20 set lists. That they weren't always exactly the same, but they were often pretty close. And I counted 40 songs that at least I personally was surprised to see. So whittling that down to 10 was not easy, you know.
Wow. Yeah, because even this year with the way She's So European, whenever they took it out of the second show
Mm-hmm.
and they threw Making Love in again, which to me that's always like not real, not you know I don't want to say a surprise, but it's always like hell yeah they're doing it because I just
Yeah.
love that song and to me it's like every time they do it it's a rarity because they obviously don't do it enough in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, there's definitely situations like that arose. So um, I failed to mark down what particular year they played each of these songs. If I wanted to be that particular about it, but I did at least jot down the last time that the song was played prior to this performance on the cruise, whichever cruise it may have been.
Nice.
So I at least did that much, but then after I did the whole thing, I was like, oh, I probably should have jotted down what cruise it was played on. I didn't feel like going back through all this set list.
Yeah. Now, if as long as whatever you picked is in within the 40, then I do have the year, but I didn't write down the so that's good.
Yeah, so you might be able to even help then with what I end up picking.
Right.
Um, all right, so let's just start there from number 10 and work our way down. So what was your number 10?
I went ahead and Take It Off on there from this year. It was so hard not to just include all four
Yeah,
from this year in the list. This one for me feels like something that could have stayed in Kiss's set lists ever since Revenge. You know what I mean? That and I Just Wanna, I think, is another one. Unholy, God Gave Right. So many things from Revenge could have stayed. But again, I think mostly because of Paul's voice, it makes it difficult to do stuff because he was very much in kind of like a second vocal prime in his life during the Revenge era. So
yes.
can't blame him for wanting to sing stuff that's a little bit easier on the voice. So yeah, it was amazing to see acknowledgement of that era from them. Now again, I am honestly really not sure that they weren't singing to a backing track or playing to a backing track on which Paul's lead vocal was. I wouldn't swear on my life, but there are times if you watch his mouth that it doesn't exactly match. And you can't blame him. Again, I think we talked about this anytime we talked about Paul lip syncing on stage. These songs, especially a song like Take It Off, is very, very difficult. And the dude's 70, you know? So even if it was to a backing track, I was surprised to see it and glad to see it.
Yeah. And the way I look at it, it's still his voice. It's not like there's some other person completely different singing for him, and that's a whole like a Milli Vanilli situation or something. But
he definitely recorded that track at some point,
right? But
if it even was that.
People are going to nitpick either way, but that's the way I look at it. Is it's still the person's voice? Who cares?
Yeah. Yep. If that's what it takes to get them to do a deep cut like that, screw it. I'm in.
Yeah. There you go. My number 10, sticking with Paul, came off of his solo album, Wouldn't You Like to Know Me?
Nice.
This was the live debut of that song.
It's 2016.
2016, there you go. And just a total shock to see, for one, that they acknowledge those solo albums, because they've definitely done more so throughout the years with some of the other ones. But that's definitely one of those tracks that I think we even discussed back when we probably did the Paul thing, that maybe that's the one they should have performed during the Dynasty tour, or at least should have brought it in at some point sooner. It just felt like that kind of song that would have fit well in the Kiss set. And from what I remember, that performance of it went pretty damn good. It still had that rockin' upbeat feel to it. Nothing felt too different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a cool surprise when they did that one that year. Wouldn't You Like to Know Me?
Definitely. And that's one that Bruce did this year in his Bob medley as well.
There you go. Yeah. So nice to see a callback to those songs, and yeah, very cool. So, number
Definitely.
9.
Number 9, I went with Hot and Cold, which they did on the 2017 cruise.
Ooh,
And, you know, not that this is my favorite song of all time or anything, but it's just, it's interesting to see them acknowledge Sonic Boom when you know that they have to know that both Sonic Boom and Monster weren't super well received by their entire fan base.
right.
So to play something from either of those albums, and it's not, modern day Delilah or Say Yeah, the obvious ones, or Hell or Hallelujah. It's a deep cut, and not even something that most people would consider to be the best Gene song on Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
So really neat to see them not only do a deep cut, but a deep cut from a more recent album that a lot of their fan base didn't care for.
God, at this point, I feel like I would mark out if they did modern day Delilah again, because I feel like it's been so long since we've heard them do
That's a good point. Yeah, they've done Hell or Hallelujah way more often than they've
that.
done Modern Day Delilah. Yeah,
It's like just to hear that again would be like, oh.
absolutely.
Number 9 for me was Sweet Pain off of Destroyer, and technically, first time it was played since 1995, which would have been those conventions, but this was technically the first time it was performed all electric, especially with the full show. So pretty much a live debut again, and again this one just totally. I mean, I remember my jaw just dropping when I saw that they did this song in the set list that year. Um, you one of the deepest cuts on that album to me. So to see that they pulled that one out, that was just like, whoa, that's cool. Like, cause I've always wondered, what it would sound like live, and you know, versus the studio version and all that stuff. And I think it went over well.
On the 2013 cruise, so it's been a while. But a song that they should have been doing prior. You know, not only is it just a surprise to see them pull it out on a cruise, but to see that they've almost never. I think actually, Setlist FM said that this was the live debut of Almost Human.
Yeah.
So like, what? how were they not performing this one at any point prior? So such a cool deep cut from an album that they play a lot of stuff from, but just for some reason, never that one.
Yeah. And again, this was another one that was apparently played on those conventions, but definitely a live debut, full electric.
Yeah.
Number 8 for me was Getaway, and this is again in that same category. Last technically played in 1995, debut electric. Good lord, I mean, yeah, obviously it would have been cool, like had Peter been able to do this with them, but still, just to see that they went back and acknowledged these Peter songs, and I'm sure Eric was probably the biggest component of doing this song because of he was a fan from the early days, and he does respect Peter and all that. So I think he knew that this would definitely be a special deep cut to pull out that no one saw coming. I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming they did this on the one where they came out in the suits, right? The Dress to Kill type show.
This was 2011. It was actually the very first cruise, so I don't remember if that's when they
wow.
did.
I think the suits was maybe the third year, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. I don't remember now, but
they may have also done it then. I seem to recall
Yeah.
seeing Getaway more than once.
yeah, but yeah, very very cool to get one of those Peter deep cuts there off of Dress to Kill. Another one that I wish would have been performed live back in the day. So
Yep,
that was very cool.
absolutely. Kind of going right along in that same vein, my number 7 is Mainline, which they did in 2013. And I mean, I almost don't even need to talk about it because everything that you just said applies to Mainline as well. And in addition, that's one of my personal favorite Peter songs that kind of gets ignored. So cool to hear them do that. Cool, honestly, dead honestly, cool to hear Eric sing it.
Yeah, this is nuts because my number 7 is also Mainline.
Very nice.
First time played since 1974, which excuse me, I believe they only played it once, if not maybe only once back then. I think they tried it out on one particular show, and that was it. I don't believe there's any audio or anything out there of that performance, which I would love to hear.
Mm.
But yeah, we're right there on the same page. Like same thing, that nice deep Peter cut, and just goes right along with it. So solid number sevens there.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 6 for me, coming back to this year, We Are One. Never in a million years saw this one of all of them coming. And it went really well. This was another one that they axed. They didn't do the second night, and I don't know why. It seemed like it went really well. Now, there were definitely some parts that Gene had to use falsetto vocals instead of his natural singing voice like he did on the album, but it sounded good. So maybe it was him. Maybe he was having difficulty hitting the notes in a way that made him happy with it or something. But no, very, very cool to see this, especially considering this was supposed to be the Psycho Circus Kiss Cruise. The only thing that's kind of disappointing is, to me, hearing this one, I'm like, okay, where's we got a bunch of Creatures songs on the Creatures cruise. Where's Raise Your Glasses and Pledge Allegiance to the State within any of the other ones, except maybe Journey of a Thousand Years? I don't know how well Finally Found My Way would have gone over, but it would have been baffling. I think it would have made the list if they had done it.
That would have been the time to surprise the hell out of the crowd and bring Peter up to sing that one.
Yeah. But still, I'm so happy that they chose a weird and unexpected one.
Yes.
From Psycho to do. They almost could have done this if they had done an acoustic Sail Away show. I'd love to hear that song acoustic as well.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're gonna change it. Maybe next year they'll do it on the Sail Away or something.
Yeah.
And it is kind of unfortunate that they didn't do Psycho Circus, perform the whole album or at least a big chunk of it, like with Creatures. And
yeah.
But I guess Bruce kind of made up for it because we got Dreaming out of him, and maybe another one that I'm not even thinking of. I have to look at his set, but yeah. My number 6 is Out of This World, and I believe that was the live debut for this one. Again, like I said, my favorite song on Monster, hands down. I think it's a great Tommy song. I don't know why they weren't doing this on the tour already. This should have been the song that they played, and Tommy went right into his solo and doing all his stuff with. Fantastic. I mean, they should have kept it in the set after they did it on this cruise. It, to me, is a better spotlight for Tommy, and it shows his talents better than performing an Ace song, in my opinion.
Yep.
But yeah, great. They definitely pulled out a lot of Monster tracks that year, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was 2012. In fact, that was the only weird tracks that they did in 2012 was stuff off of Monster.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I didn't put any of those on here, but I really thought about it just for that. Just because it's weird to see them perform 4 songs off of Monster.
Right.
Actually, it was probably 5 because I wouldn't have written down Hell or Hallelujah, and I imagine they were doing that one at that point.
Yeah, we didn't even get that on the Monster tour, which was promoting the album, but we got all those on the cruise.
Right. So cool to see Kiss acting like a regular band and playing a bunch of songs from their, at the time, new album in their set list. Number 5 for me was Is That You, which they did in 2017. Similar to She's So European this year, it's so neat to see them acknowledge an album that, again, at the time, their fan base wasn't big on. And for them to do the cover from that album on top of that was really cool. It's just, that's a song that it made sense that they played it live on that tour. And then it's a good song, but not good enough to keep it after that. So it's not surprising that they dropped it. So to then pull it out again after all those years was just absolutely baffling. And it still sounded good. It still worked with Paul's voice and the shape it was in 2017. So it still went really well.
Absolutely. Number 5 for me was where are we at here? Tomorrow and Tonight.
Nice.
So cool that we finally got a real live version of this after all those years from
Right.
Alive 2. Um, maybe still not the best live song, but again, it was just that crazy, just awesome factor that they finally pulled this out and finally did it live for real. Um, and it is what it is. It's just it's one of those tracks on Love Gun that always felt like it should have probably been a bigger hit,
Yep.
and for some reason it just wasn't. And again, maybe it's their fault. Maybe if they really did play it on that tour back then, maybe it would have become a bigger hit and had stayed as more of a staple in the sets through all the years. But yeah, so cool to just finally get that after all these years. It's just one of those that pretty much would have wrote off up until then. Like, oh, they'll never do this song.
Right. That was 2017. They did a lot of really cool stuff in 2017.
Nice.
My number 4, Getaway from 2011. So there's really no point in rehashing again everything that you said.
Yeah.
Just again, it's so cool to see them acknowledge Peter songs that weren't popular back in the day. And again, it was cool to, as much as it would have been cool if Peter were still in the band. I really enjoyed hearing Eric sing it.
Yeah. Totally agreed. My number 4, which again we're going to this year again. She's So European. Um, like we were saying earlier, even though it may not have went over too well, it was still just another one of those songs that was so cool to hear them finally do live. I thought for the most part Gene sounded pretty good. I mean, yeah, he got a little lost at times, but that happens a lot. And but for the most part, I felt like he was pretty much on it, and the band sounded good on it. And it was just really cool to hear. Especially something from Unmasked. They touch on it here and there, like with "Is That You," like you mentioned, and so now we got "She's So European" this year. So, and then again, speaking of that, I guess Bruce's band did "Naked City," right?
They did a portion of it in the Bob medley. Yep.
That's something I haven't heard yet either, so I need to hear that. So
very, very well done. Again, with Zach Throne sounding exactly like Gene, just
wow,
freaking spot on.
Hmm.
Number 3 for me, "It's My Life," which they did in 2019. I almost put this as my number 1. Now, I like this song a lot. It's definitely not my favorite Kiss song that I've ever heard, but it's just so surprising for them to. This may be the only time they've performed a song that they never actually recorded.
Yes,
an original. So, and I imagine that they probably did this because Gene had done it on his solo tour and it went over really well. So at the time, it was surprising, but I was also like, well, you could have maybe said that this was coming because Gene did it. But for him to have talked Paul especially into doing this, hey, that song we've recorded, we've demoed this song twice and we've never actually done it. There's a lot of fans who know that song, and nobody's going to be expecting that. Maybe more than any other thing we could do, nobody's going to expect us to play a song live that we've only ever demoed. So yeah, wildly surprising.
Absolutely. My number 3 is "Rock and Roll Hell," which was the first time since 1982 it was performed, and again wasn't performed that much at the time either. So yeah, obviously, again, it's no secret about my love for Creature's album as a whole. So anytime they pull any of these songs out, especially the ones that they haven't regularly performed, because not only was "Rock and Roll Hell," but there were some other ones off the album that they played around that time. I believe what was it? "Keep Me Coming." Yeah, that's on there. But "Rock and Roll Hell," that's one of my favorite sleeper, like, underrated songs on Creatures, and just love the groove to it and everything. And that was a very, very nice surprise. I loved when they did that. I'd love to hear them do it again.
Yeah. Yep. That whole 2016 Kruise was just amazing because it was the first Creatures themed cruise. They went back to the Creatures costumes. They played a ton of the Creatures album.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they had done that with this. Now, I would have been a bit disappointed, honestly, if they had gone back to the Psycho costumes, just because it's basically Destroyer and Rock and Roll Over.
Right.
And to be frank, I think the End of the Road costumes are a little cooler,
Oh yeah.
or at least less tired, maybe is the way to put
Yeah.
it. But I do kind of wish they had treated this Psycho cruise the way they treated the Creatures cruise. Having said that, my number 2 is Keep Me Coming. So we're just rolling right into that. Yeah. Perhaps one of the most surprising tracks, just because in the same way that We Are One was like, wow, that one from Psycho, that's cool. This was the one for me that was like, holy crap, of all the Creature songs that they could have chose to pull out, that I just didn't expect that one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So super cool to hear them do that modern. A little bit disappointing that Paul can't do now what he could do then, but again, the dude was at the time like 65, so it's a dumb complaint, but it would have been cool to hear them do it back in the day.
My number 2, again, going back to this year, it's We Are One. You nailed it. I mean, that's another song that I would have been like, they'll never play this live. I mean, as much as we would have liked to hear it, because I think when we did Psycho Circus, the album this time, I think we said that it would have been cooler to hear them play this song, and we always wish they would have, or whether it was acoustic or anything. And then,
Yeah.
lo and behold, we get surprised with it this year. And yeah, I totally agree. I thought Gene sounded great on that as well, even better than She's So European.
Yep.
He sounded real good. I like some of the extra stuff he was throwing in there, kind of, involving the crowd, because again, that's really the message of that song. And it just like everything I kind of pictured that could be live is basically what we got. And, the way he was, truly like appreciative of the crowd and including them in that, and just everything about it. So cool. And I think I've said this for everyone, but man, just a nice surprise. It's always kind of jaw dropping. It's almost like Christmas Day every year, waiting to see what deep cuts they play, and just waiting to see that set list come out, and then waiting on the videos to pop up. And man, it's so cool, especially for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So number one already. And it was difficult for me not to put this on the list twice, because they did it 2 different years, and it was surprising enough that they did it once, but it was almost equally surprising that they kept it the next year as well. Gotta Be the Oath.
Oh yeah.
Which they broke out in 2013 and then did again in 2014. Nuts, because up to that point, the only time they had ever acknowledged the Elder live past those TV appearances that they did was doing World Without Heroes, sometimes when they would do acoustic shows. And so with the way they talk about the Elder and Carnival of Souls, for that matter, you just never expect them to bother themselves pulling stuff out like that. And especially a song like The Oath, which, Paul uses some falsetto vocals to go really ultra high in that song. So it seems like a natural contender for him to say, I'm not going to be able to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anybody saw them legitimately, not just screwing around, actually playing something from The Elder live. And then again, like I said, to do it again the next year was almost equally surprising.
Yeah, because they were teasing everybody there for a few years where they would just kind of do parts of it, and
right,
and then finally, just broke the whole thing out. And
and I would bet you money that was Eric and Tommy pushing them. I don't think Gene and Paul ever would have made that decision on their own.
Yeah, they were probably like, okay, enough of the teasing the people. They want the whole thing. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's work on it, Let's see. My number 1, it's got to be It's My Life, man. God, talking about, you nailed it too when you discussed that one. I mean, talk about songs that you never thought there would be a chance on earth they would play, because again of that whole um, the process of it wasn't officially ever on an album.
Right.
So that's got to be the first time that um, well, okay, since the early days of Kiss that they've performed something that wasn't on an album. I mean, I know there's stuff in the early days that didn't make it to an album, but as far as being the top of the world, band of Kiss, they had never done that until that point. And to me, that's on the level of if they would have broke out with Sword and Stone or Time Traveler, I'd have been just as like jaw on the floor. Like I remember like that one specifically. I could not wait to find a video. I was searching YouTube like every, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. I was hoping that somebody would finally hurry up and get a video upload because I just had to hear how it sounded. And, oh, man. Yeah, that was definitely the icing on the cake for me. But very solid number one.
Absolutely.
And, there's one you had on your list that it's almost criminal that I didn't even put it on mine, is Almost Human. I mean, I love that song, and I agree that was so cool that they pulled that out too. And it's like, where's that one been? Keep it in the set.
Yeah, so many of these. Like after I decided I was going to write every song down that personally surprised me, and then I would look, so I could look at all of it at once and whittle that down to 10.
Yeah.
And having looked at all of it, I was almost disappointed that we didn't just go with the initial idea. This episode would have been like 3 hours long to rank 40 songs, but so many of these, it feels wrong to not mention. They did Coming Home in an Electric Show in 2011.
Yes.
How weird is that? How often they've broken out All the Way throughout the years, which
exactly.
they've almost, so many. And then like we talked about 2012 when Monster was new, doing all of those new songs, which they, when's the last time Kiss went on tour for an album and actually played a bunch of the songs from that album?
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
You got freaking Anything for My Baby and Ladies in Waiting, and 1975 was the last time Ladies in Waiting, and Room Service and Two Timer.
That first year.
Yeah, shout outs to those. Let Me Know.
It's interesting too, looking at all of this like that. How some years are just chock full of stuff. Like that first year, 2011, has so many. And 2013 is the same way. 2013, Anything for My Baby, Ladies in Waiting, Almost Human, The Oath, Mainline, Let Me Know, Hide Your Heart. But then next year, in 2014, Plaster Caster was maybe the most surprising thing. 2015, Ladies Room and Flaming Youth. So some years there's almost nothing. 2018, there was nothing that surprised me on the 2018 set list at all.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. It seemed like that first year they had that idea of like, okay, pretty much the entire set's going to be deep cuts except for maybe 3 or maybe 4 at the most, because you have to do Rock and Roll and I some of those. But yeah, it seemed like after that it's definitely only gotten to where they'll only throw like maybe 3 or 4 at the most in, and then maybe switch 1 or 2 on the next night if they do. Sometimes it's been the exact same mirror set list, but it's kind of cool that they at least changed a few things and threw Making Love back in this year, and I believe it was Let Me Go Rock and Roll, which I guess they technically haven't really played that in quite a while. Same with Firehouse and Watching You even. I mean, kind of cool that they did bring those in, because they haven't been playing those in a long time. And people might think, what? They don't do Firehouse? Then how's Gene do the Fire? Well, they do it on War Machine, of course, which is weird, but it somehow works.
Yeah. So it's really an up and down. It's funny looking at this, how you can almost surmise that spending the thousands of dollars it would take to get onto a cruise doesn't necessarily guarantee you fancy songs, or at least not many.
Yeah.
I mean, you're way more, if you're going for the sake of hearing those songs you don't hear very often, just see Bruce, because every year his set, is completely different. They usually do 2 sets, and rarely do they repeat songs between the 2 sets, even on the same year. You know what I mean? So like, again, it's really worth mentioning how much more, if you're into the deep cuts and that's more what you're interested in, Bruce is by far more worth your money. You know?
Yeah, I hope they don't have some sort of special arrangement or deal with him to where he's not able to take that on tour
Oh
and
yeah,
only letting him do it on the cruises and stuff. Because I hope that's not the case. Because man, I would.
that
Yeah,
I'd be very angry if that
yeah.
if I found out that were the case. Yes.
Bring him to the Rose or one of these close venues. It would be amazing. Mm.
Yeah.
You know, for that matter, got fingers crossed we get a freaking Kiss Expo again next year. If they bring Bruce and he plays and has that band, oh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah, that'll be the highlight of the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And who's Thomas? Many great deep cuts over the years, but the most exciting for me was the show with the Dress to Kill outfits. Yep.
Yeah.
Early year stage with the candles. Oh yeah.
And I with the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one I felt a little bad. I wrote it down. That was 2017 that they did for the first time, and I wanted to include it and didn't. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, definitely. You know, all of these are definitely, you know, surprises and awesome. But yeah, we definitely just kind of had to dwindle it down to the 10, and
yeah.
So
I don't remember what year it was. Maybe it was 2015. It had to have been 2015. The year that it was an anniversary for Alive, and they performed the entire Alive album.
Yeah.
And so like that year there was only two weird ones, and it was Ladies Room and Flaming Youth, and I think they were both in encores. And I can forgive them that. You know, that makes sense because it was an anniversary for Alive, and so it was cool to see them play those songs in that order.
Right.
I think they even went back to those costumes for that.
Yeah, I believe so. And I think that's the one that Thomas is referring to where they had the candelabras on stage.
Nice. Yeah. And that was great. And then also I saw somebody point out that between the Alive set list and the Acoustic Sail Away show, they also played the entire Hotter Than Hell album on that cruise.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool. I just saw somebody point that out in one of the Kiss groups on Facebook recently, and I never thought of that.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't either. So yeah, like I said, we want to hear your guys' top 10 list. You know, leave it in the comments or go over to Facebook on our group page and leave a comment on there. We'd love to hear it. And if you haven't checked out any of the videos floating around on YouTube, go watch them. It's some amazing stuff. You know, the Bruce stuff, the Kiss stuff, all the other goings on that they had, the Q&A and all that stuff. Those were fun watches too. So definitely check it out. And, you know, again, fingers crossed that we're going to get a Kiss Expo back this coming year. And, you know, that's always, like we've said, it's always kind of the similar family kind of vibe that you get there. So definitely hoping to get that back. It's definitely something that's been sorely missed the last few years.
Definitely.
So, so I think that does it. We'll definitely be back next week. And again, as always, stay posted to the Facebook page to see the announcement of what we decide to do next coming week. All right. So thank you all for joining us, and hope to hear from you guys. Let us know what your plans are, if there's any Kiss shows coming your way, especially if you're an overseas listener or viewer. They're coming over your way in a few months, so let us know. And all right. So until next week, there goes my glasses.
Very nice.
Boy, that's a cutting room floor clip there, if ever. Yeah. All right, guys. Take it easy. We'll see you next week.
Yes.